Good evening, welcome to radio, the Putman Way, and historical Fort Gates Ferry. Tonight, I've got Joey Agner. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He is running for one of the county seats for the county commissioner. And we picked tonight because Fort Gates has been shut down for September 11th will be 9 years. Thanks to a bunch of political BS from the county and it not getting, well, we can't get permits, we can't do this, we can't do that. But this place has been here this year, April 1st or April 2nd, made 275 years that Fort Gates Ferry has been here. Now, a little quick history. This is one of the first, during the 1930s, the man who owned this place, and you guys, if you've never checked it out, we're at 229 Fort Gates Ferry Road. But the gentleman during the 30s, when food was scarce and stuff, the man who owned the place had some of the cabins, which are still here. He decided that he was going to charge 25 cents a day for people to come out and fish and hunt and camp and get enough food. Because food was scarce. Money was, people were poor as dirt. You guys have done any history at all, you know about the Great Depression. This gentleman came out and offered 25 cents a night. People could come down here and hunt, fish, and camp. And that way they got enough food for a day, a week, a month, 25 cents a day. Turns out it's one of the first fish camps in the United States. We're trying to preserve the history of this place. And before I go any further, let me say, for you people that think and that are politicians or whatever, this is not a paid political campaign ad or anything. Joey contacted me, wanted to come down and check out the place because he had seen that Fort Gates has been getting bastardized over the years. I mean, come on. Going on 9 years and they can't get their crap together. It's about saving the history of this place. And I welcome Larry Harvey. If you want to come on here, I'll be glad to have you. And any of the other people running for office. But tonight, we're going to focus on Mr. Agner here and what he's done. You're a volunteer firefighter, correct? Or firefighter?
Well, I'm a volunteer for Melrose Fire Department, but I'm also a full-time firefighter up in Clay County.
Clay County?
Yes, I've been there right at about 10 years.
And you have a military background
as
well.
I was in the Army for about 18 years, active reserve, did the whole thing, deployed a couple times. I did the Army for a while too. I've done a few other cool things. So it was I got to do a lot in the Army. That's kind of what made me who I am. Leadership and stuff like that.
Well, thank you for your service. I have met his wife and his kids. I don't know how he got the wife he got now. He's like me, but anyways.
I just don't let him do that, dog.
Yeah. He's got a beautiful family, guys. I've been talking to Joey for a few weeks now. And got to know him. He's come down to the camp before and saw the place and saw the river otters here and the deer that come out during the day and all the time. And what do you think of the place?
I think it's great. I've been talking to you for a couple weeks about this. I've been excited to come here. My family and I are staying up here. This is what I feel like Putnam County is. Growing up, my grandfather I grew up in Madison County, and my pop, he was a retired firefighter from Jacksonville way back in the day. And he used to bring me over to Crescent City to profit for a couple of weeks. This is how I remember riding around Putnam County. To me, this is history. This is rich. This is where Florida cut its teeth. You're near St. Augustine, and the history that you've had here good God, you trashed it back to the full crisis. To me, we need to preserve stuff like this. So to me, this is home. This is Florida. This is what Florida.
Did you get a chance to go over and check out the Indian Mound there?
I have not done. Well, we walked around that one day and we walked around here and I saw just a glimpse of it, but I hadn't been over there.
Okay.
I'll go check that out. I want to see that.
The Indian Mound has been there since 1250 AD. Well, it's before that. But this was originally a site, and it goes all the way back to C1. We've got stacks and stacks of information on this. And this is a place that when the Second and Third Seminole Indian Wars were fought, this is where they were fought at. And this is a bottleneck between Lake George and Little Lake George, where the Spanish, the British, the friars, all these different groups, the Confederate, the Union soldiers, all have occupied this place at one point or another because it's a bottleneck, and they could come across the river, and it's the first cattle brigade that was actually here. And I know you and I went into detail about sit and talk for hours about it, about how there's a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient because of the battle that was fought here. And most people not realize, and I didn't realize it until a couple of years ago, that there was called the Great Battle of Fort Gates. And for our audience that's listening, this has, there's a lot of racial crap that goes on, and I don't get into that. I've got a future daughter-in-law that's Hispanic. I got a black son, a Colombian son that I adopted and raised and stuff. And this place actually helped, and you and I talked about this, and you said you did some research on it as well. What was the guy's name, the Medal of Honor recipient?
Private Benjamin Thacker.
Yeah, Private Benjamin Thacker. Now, he came down with a group of colored men right during the Civil War, and they came down and actually were able to infiltrate here and actually save Palatka, and were able to keep troops from advancing from the south up to the North Palatka. And actually, Palatka wouldn't even be on the map today if it wasn't for Fort Gates. And also, the 20 men, the black men that came down and helped fight, a couple of them went on later to become the Buffalo Soldiers. And that's all information that's documented from the National Archives out of Washington. My research lady, Marie there, she does all the research, incredible on what she's done. You've got a stack there. You're going to be reading for a month.
I would probably not be taking my phone for a while.
So let me ask you, what are some of the things that you see that Putnam County needs to have done? I mean, don't hold back on it, because we all know that the roads are screwed up.
Yeah.
The dirt to pavement program has not worked. We got county commissioners wanting to get us MSBUs when the tax on our gas is supposed to pay for this now for what, 20, 30 years, and it just got renewed a few years ago. I'm not paying an MSBU, and I hope that you listeners would not cave to an MSBU, because I don't think we need that. I think there's a lot of wasteful spending. What's your thoughts on this stuff?
Well, for me, I support the property tax right now. I think before we need to do anything, we need to bring in waste. Everybody talks about fraud and abuse. I don't like saying waste, fraud, and abuse, because I don't like anybody to think I'm trying to make these false accusations. But the waste comes from anything from streamlining how your government works, not wasting money on frivolous, like we were talking about. We were talking earlier, they want to spend all this money to do stuff right here when you could do it for cheaper. And that kind of wastefulness, and just not paving our roads that need to be paved, not replacing dirt roads that need to be. We don't need to pave it. That's a waste of money. Why pay $1,800,000 a mile to pave a road when you can go to country estates and Interlochen over there and get rid of the sugar sand and do a good foundation? So it's like you want to they keep paving. Just talk about wasteful spending. I call it putting $100,000 Band-Aid on a $10,000 problem. You've got a problem with your roads, and you keep just scraping. Invest a little money into the future of it. Invest a little bit. Get them built up. Make them good, sturdy dirt roads that aren't going to wash away. That are going to have the proper, will have the proper drainage. If you invest a little bit in that now, you're going to save in the long run.